This tonight, we want to focus on something that started October 1st and continues as we now enter a new month. Workers are still striking at Mercy Hospital in South Buffalo.
Union members walked off the job over several issues, including pay, supplies, and staffing. Over the weekend, it appeared that the two sides were close to ending this. Then talks broke down. Now, over the past month, the nearly 2,000 healthcare workers have been getting a few $100s a week from the union plus unemployment. Well, this weekend, Catholic Health announced that it would stop funding most health coverage for those workers.
And despite having replacement workers at Mercy, this work stoppage has impacted health care throughout Western New York, and it's in everyone's interest to end this. But how? We are hearing from both sides tonight. And first up live is Mark Sullivan, President and CEO of Catholic Health, for an exclusive interview here on the Town Hall. And Mark, we want to get right into it. The CWA said over the weekend that both sides were close to a deal. So what happened here, and where do things stand right now?
Well, Mike and Kate, thanks for having me. Yes, we were close to a deal. As you know, we have a very fair and competitive wage proposal on the table right now. The staffing proposal we have on the table is the most progressive staffing proposal in New York State, if not, and definitely in the region as well. So we got to a point where there was a little bit of dialogue around ratios. What's important is that our ratios, it goes beyond ratios. We're adding over 400 nursing assistants, which are outside those ratios. So we need to look at care as a continuum, and all the resources we're putting behind the nurses. And that's what we proposed. We spent a lot of time educating the union on what we were trying to do around that. We're very confident our proposal would stand if it was taken to a vote today. And we look forward to the next steps.
Mark, on the issue of staffing, the union said this weekend accused you of going backwards in terms of the nurse to patient ratio, specifically in the medical surgical units. I know people aren't super familiar with all of this, but what can you tell us about that part of the negotiation? And at a news conference a short time ago, the union said, give us a 4-to-1 ratio and we'll end this. What can you tell us about what your position is there? And we're hearing some of these numbers that, you know, those of us who don't work in healthcare don't fully understand.
Yeah, well, thankfully, we've been in healthcare a long time. So I'll explain it this way, is that when the union came out in the beginning about the 4-to-1 ratio, it was before we invested $21 million in over 400 positions to support the nurses. So the 4-to-1 ratio cannot be looked at in a myopic way or a singular way. We need to look at it, what is supporting the nurses around there? We have the only magnet status hospital in Western New York, and that's the Kenmore Mercy Hospital. It's about having nurses work to the top of their license. So our investment, the only one in the region and the only one in the state, to bolster the supporting staff under the nursing does not necessarily mean they need 4-to-1 ratio in the units that we're talking about, because the package for staffing needs to be looked at in totality. It's progressive, it's fair, and it's transforming healthcare at the bedside, which is different than when we started out with the ratio issue. We are going above and beyond what is required by the law in January of New York State. We're actually added the word ratios into our contracts, unheard of around the country. And we believe our proposal stands firm, and it's great for the workers at all levels, but it's a team effort in healthcare. And we believe that the challenge is, I don't know if people understand how progressive this is or the resources that have been invested in it, but we're confident if it was ever taken to a vote that the members would be grateful and happy for what we're adding to the complement of staffing for the bedside.
Meanwhile, Mark, there's been some added pressure now because Catholic Health started sending out letters to union members last night, cutting off health insurance until there is an agreement. To be clear on that, you were never required to pay any insurance for workers on strike, but you did that for a month. The union has said that taking away insurance was an attempt at intimidation. It certainly sends a pretty strong message. So why
Correct.
did you make that move?
Correct. So it's not true. It's not a method of intimidation. What Catholic Health did, we're a faith-based organization. We thought long and hard when they went on strike and when they took our members away from the patient bedside that we would keep the health insurance in place. We thought the strike would be shorter. We thought there'd be a more sense of an urgency from the union. As you can see, that didn't happen. We telegraphed this for weeks. I had a press conference last Monday. We spent over $1.3 million on health insurance. And again, Catholic Health did that because we wanted to do that. But we're at a new month, and we don't have the sense of urgency from the union that we need. We've told them this. We told them that yesterday. Please, let's get this done. And we are today where we are because the union forced our hand related to health insurance. We feel for our associates. They mentioned they have a $400 million defense fund. They've paid dues for many years. They can reach out to the union to help subsidize that health insurance. And we just want our workers back in the hospital, the soul of Mercy Hospital back, progressive staffing plan and really competitive market wages, they need to be back at Mercy, and we're ready for them.
Mark, just about 30 seconds left, and we're very tight on time so that we can be fair here. But are there negotiations scheduled now for, later today, for tomorrow? What comes next?
Yes, so the union has our latest proposal. When we ended at 6:30 in the morning yesterday, they said they need some time to think about it. They can't get to where we need to be. And so we await to hear from the mediator what the next steps are, but we have a fair and competitive proposal in place with fair wages, a very progressive staffing plan, and we're excited to welcome back those workers to Mercy Hospital.
Catholic Health President and CEO Mark Sullivan, thanks so much for coming on, Mark, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Kate.
All right, a short time ago, we spoke with the local head of the CWA union, which represents those striking workers.
And we taped that ahead of time to be able to present both sides here without either side having the advantage of reacting to what the other side said. So here is our conversation with Deborah Hayes, CWA Area Director.
Deborah, we appreciate you being here. I want to start by asking you, not many people thought this strike would be going on a month after it began. Over the weekend, the two sides were apparently close. From your perspective, what happened to cause those talks to end this weekend?
So we did meet all weekend. We met Friday into early Saturday morning, and then we met Sunday morning until almost 6 a.m. We worked incredibly hard to reach an agreement, and we did, in fact, just fall short. In emotionally draining discussions that our bargaining committee had amongst ourselves, we realized that we had met all of the objectives that we had promised to our members, but we had not lived up to that final commitment that we made to the community, and that was to deal with the staffing issues inside Mercy Hospital. So negotiations did break down around the issue of staffing. From the very beginning, this strike has been about our members standing up and being very vocal about the fact that they wanted to provide safe patient care. And we don't feel that the agreement that Catholic Health has on the table gets that job done.
With that in mind, Deborah, we've heard from some union workers who've said that they want to get back to work. They feel like the offer from Catholic Health is fair. Do you have support from a majority of your members to continue the strike and keep it going?
We absolutely do. Every member that we talk to says the same thing to us. We would much rather be in the hospital caring for our patients than to be on strike right now. But they are telling the bargaining committee, you do what it takes to get a solid agreement and we'll back you. And the reality is we just cannot go backwards. When we bargained our contract in 2016, we had language in the contract that said, that the hospital will staff to its existing grids. And those grids at the time were 1-4 for our medical surgical units. And there is no way we can reach an agreement that it should be 1-5. That would be taking steps backwards. And it is not in the best interest of the people providing the care or the patients that are coming in to receive the care. So, literally talks broke down over what the staffing ratio should be on our medical surgical units.
Deborah, you know this better than any of us. The cost of this is piling up for both sides, especially with your members now losing health insurance coverage. If staffing remains the sticking point, as you say, what is the union's bottom line in terms of the ratios, and what would be the offer that if the company brought it to you right now in terms of staffing that you would accept and end this?
Well, to answer your question, we put a proposal on the table Sunday morning that should have ended this. We developed a memorandum of agreement that would allow the hospital to agree to the 1-4 ratio. And if they had trouble meeting it, we outlined a process by which the parties could look at it. There was absolutely no reason that Catholic Health should not take the agreement that was on the table Sunday morning. And to be quite honest with you, we were surprised that they didn't. So, I mean, this is totally in Catholic Health's hands right now. We have been bargaining for months. Despite the allegations against us, the union has been bargaining in good faith. We are there 7 days a week, long hours every day, and we're almost there. This strike could end literally tonight or tomorrow morning if we could resolve this issue related to the staffing ratios on our medical surgical units.
We have been talking with Deborah Hayes, CWA Area Director, with the union's perspective tonight. Deborah, thank you again for your time.
You are most welcome. Thank you.